when it comes to loss in translation, it's not always just the language itself. Sometimes processes, theories, other things like that even get lost in translation. I know for me, as an example, the great deal of time I've spent with WZ Europe, one of the feedback that I got about a step of our process, the rapport building step, was that that'll never work here. And the mentality and the thought process behind it was, Chris, we Brits, we're not like you Yanks.
Mm-hmm.
And the way it came across was we don't like to talk about ourselves so much, and so the rapport building would be very difficult for us. It was something I was able to work through, but it was something you wouldn't think would be a part of a process that someone might not be as receptive to, or would look at it on the surface and say, that'll never work.
Yeah, and I know my personal experience with WZ being a global company now is sometimes we learn by embarrassment or by accident different cultural differences. And I had the chance the last couple of years to go present in Mexico City, and I don't speak any Spanish. And so I'm up there presenting, and for some reason tried to speak in Italian that got translated to English and eventually into Spanish, and the language wasn't very appropriate to use in front of about 500 people. So making sure the words are appropriate, the words that translate aren't always a direct translation. So understanding, the verb might be in a different spot in a sentence or a question. The behavioral reaction might be different based off the language that's used.
Yeah. And not only the words that we're talking about, the language, but it's the nonverbals as well that we have to pay attention to that might get lost in the translation culturally and internationally. And of course, when we sit down and interview people that might be from a different culture than our own, have a different background, we need to understand elements about who they are, what makes them who they are. So research and kind of doing your due diligence becomes an important part of that interview process, sitting down with someone that's different than you.
Yeah, and learning. It's something we've had to do everything from, different litigation and the case law that affects different countries or municipalities and what you can do or can't do, what's acceptable not only culturally, but legally. So I know we've got a lot of global partners out there that have organizations or representation in different countries. I'm curious how you guys deal with some of these issues, especially in the investigative world, of your policies and procedures and how they differ across cultures. So please share that information with us so we can share it with the team.
Absolutely. Thanks again for watching. We appreciate you taking the time. If you have any thoughts, questions, or even experiences that you could pass along to others to help cross that barrier and understand the loss in translation, that'd be great to share. We appreciate it.
Ciao.
Don't you mean adios?
Bye.
Bye.